The day I died was not the day my body left this earth. It was the day the version of me I had been carrying finally collapsed under the weight of trauma, shock, and betrayal. I died alone, dehydrated, brokenhearted by what had been done. There was no resurrection for that girl's nervous system. I had no choice but to bury her, the compliant daughter, the silenced wife, the supportive sister, the dedicated mother, the woman who had traded her identity for the illusion of unconditional love. I had not always lived in collapse. Intuitive, empathic, attuned to truth before words. I felt the undercurrents others ignored, sensed tension before voices were raised, and read intention before it came action. My sensitivity was treated as a defect. My home life growing up was chaos. I had emotionally immature parents, and I was labeled too dramatic, too emotional, too much. My natural gifts became a source of shame. I learned early that my truth was unwelcome, that my perceptions made others uncomfortable, and that my very way of seeing the world was a liability. So I began to shut down. I swallowed words. I disguised tears. I practiced silence until it became survival. At 13, the weight of that silence drove me to run away. It was not rebellion, it was a cry for help. Instead of compassion, I was met with exile. I was sent away to school, and I never returned home. Looking back, the distance saved me from further damage, but at the time it deepened the wound of abandonment. Through my teens and early 20s, recognition of self was stripped away. If I defended myself, I was called angry. If I expressed a need, I was called demanding. Emotional neglect left me to parent myself. I turned to books, psychology, and any resource I could find to make sense of my pain. I studied trauma, personality disorders, and family systems, desperate to find language for what I had endured. But knowledge was not enough. The fractures were too deep. I became a ghost in my own life, shrinking so I might survive, my voice buried, my inner world silenced. These patterns followed me into adulthood like shadows. At 18, I chose a partner whose family system looked different than my own, at least on the surface. I mistook that as healthy simply because they appeared organized and united. Now I realize their foundation was built on dominance disguised as strength, rigid masculine energy with little space for tenderness, obedience masquerading as unity, and narrative control disguised as order. I knew I had made a mistake the day after we got married. He became a completely different person. My time and resources were controlled. My ideas were dismissed. Conflicts were silenced. Anything new or different was mocked, undermined, or ignored. The parallels to my childhood were undeniable. Just as parental love had been conditional, so too was partnership. My nervous system, trained to equate familiarity with safety, could not recognize that what I had endured was not love, but oppression. I endured, convincing myself that this was normal. Beneath the surface, the same wound widened. The belief that my true self could not exist without consequence. The crazy part about narcissistic abuse is that because there is no physical violence, you question yourself endlessly. You gaslight yourself before anyone else has to. From 20 to 40, I built a life that was beautiful on the outside while I was dying on the inside. I used self-discipline, fitness, and relentless reframing to convince myself that every harmful moment wasn't that bad, that I was overreacting, that he didn't mean it. I became a master at giving the abuser the benefit of the doubt, even when my body knew the truth long before my mind was willing to admit it. Betrayal returned in adulthood. A devastating shock that stripped the defenses I had built. The people who once promised to take care of me turned my life into a nightmare. They attacked my resources, my nervous system, and my ability to survive. They claimed what was mine and left me without safety or support. Every person I trusted stood by as my life was dismantled piece by piece. I learned that narcissistic abuse doesn't look like violence. Sometimes it looks like two people you trust quietly coordinating behind the scenes to dismantle you. In my case, a parent and a partner, the two people I believed were my anchors, were having private conversations about me, not with me.